Cellular respiration. We are taking C6H12O6 that we made in photosynthesis, and since we cannot make our own food, we are called heterotrophs. We are the consumers, so we must obtain C6H12O6 by eating, digesting, absorbing. So glucose gets into the bloodstream. It can pass the cell membrane, but it is a 6-carbon sugar. It is actually too big to get into the mitochondria. So the first thing that happens is glycolysis. The glycolysis is the splitting of sugar. It happens in the cytoplasm and no oxygen is needed. You don't even need a mitochondria for it. So this glycolysis is considered a universal pathway. All organisms can do it. At the end of glycolysis, we have had to use 2 ATPs to get it started. We made 4, that leaves us a net of 2 ATPs. What glucose is now is called pyruvic acid, and we've made a little bit of like an intermediate electron carrier, like a baby ATP, in the form of NADH. We now take that pyruvic acid, if we have oxygen and if we have a mitochondria, across the first mitochondrial membrane. So pyruvic acid joins with coenzyme A to produce acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA is small enough to get across the second membrane. So what's happened to the carbons in the meantime? We have given them off as CO2. Acetyl-CoA is picked up by oxaloacetic acid to keep the cycle going. Along the way, all the Krebs cycle, also known as the citric acid cycle, is doing is making these little intermediate electron carriers in the form of NADH and FADH2, a little bit of ATP. But now we haven't made the big payoff of ATP that we need for a multicellular organism. So what we do is we take the hydrogens from NADH and FADH2 and we shuttle them to the inner folds of the mitochondria known as the cristae. We there have an electron transport chain. The electrons from hydrogen go through the electron transport chain. The protons build up into this intermembrane space, and they produce what is known as the proton motive force. Again, the only way that they can get back to the other side of the membrane and meet up with their electron counterparts and become hydrogen again is through ATP synthetase, also known as ATPase. That enzyme, as the protons are diffusing back through, forces the reaction of hooking phosphate groups onto ADP to make about 32 ATPs. That's a big payoff. At the end of the electron transport chain, oxygen must be there to pick up the last electrons, and with their hydrogen proton counterpart, we make molecular water. So the cellular respiration takes glucose plus oxygen, yields CO2 as a waste product. We make molecular oxygen, and why we were doing this in the first place, we're making ATP because every living cell needs a constant supply of energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate.
Okay, really quick, you meant molecular water, right? Not molecular oxygen for that last H2O?
Did I say that?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just clarifying so that the students that watch this video kind of don't get confused.
Molecular water, right?
Yes, molecular water. Yes, okay. So just a quick overview, guys. Cellular respiration is the backwards formula of photosynthesis.